before anybody whinges and whines and says, you're going to privatise the NHS. Woeful incompetence of Kemi Badenoch. We are the party of the workers and the strivers, not the shirkers and the skivers.
What do you make of Keir Starmer as a man?
Well, look,
You stepped aside for Nigel. Who called who?
2 words, net zero, net stupid zero. We're messing it up here. We're not good enough.
You're obviously a very wealthy man, a millionaire. How do you connect with the people here?
Here's the thing, I'm the best person to make this constituency great again.
I'm in Skegness today, which is next to Boston. The seaside town and Boston together are the constituency of Richard Tice MP, who is the Deputy Leader of Reform UK. We're going to chat to him today about local issues and national issues. How would you describe your 2 big towns you've got in your constituency, Skegness and Boston? Skegness first.
They're remarkable towns in completely different ways. So Skegness, massive tourist resort. It was the home for the first Butlins in 1936. Like all coastal towns, it's got its challenges, but it's also the home of the greatest number of mobile homes and caravans, some 30,000, the biggest number in the whole of Europe. So that's another great opportunity. And then that's very different to Boston. Boston, huge history, incredible architecture. Boston was the second biggest trading port outside London 300 years ago. The second biggest contributor to customs and excise 300 years ago. But the issue is that the Boston's, like a lot of market towns, got real problems on the high street. I think it's suffered through mismanagement, and I'm working on plans to turn that round and talking to all the various parties, because we've got to turn that heritage and history to its advantage. I know that this great constituency, all of you, will work with me. I'm looking forward to working with you. We can do great things together. Thank you very much.
What's it like being a Reform MP, Richard?
Well, I've never been an MP before, so it's all a new experience. People sort of thought that we would we wouldn't achieve anything, but look how much noise we've made. In 6, 7 months, 5 of us, we've become the real opposition. And just through hard work, common sense policies, a bit of courage, a bit of leadership, and understanding what's concerning people.
Do you feel like you're speaking up for a certain kind of person?
Yeah, I think we're speaking up for hard-working, patriotic British folk who know that it's a great country that's being let down through bad management, wasting taxpayers' cash, and a complete failure to understand what makes people better off, what makes the country better off, and we understand it. We've all been around the block, we've achieved things, we've done things. We know how to be successful, we know how to take decisions, and so I think that's why we're making progress.
In the past, you've talked about how multiculturalism has failed. What's it like in this constituency in Skegness, in Boston? Because in Boston, 1 in 4 people were born outside of the UK. Is that a problem?
The thing about immigration is, first of all, you should only have legal immigration, and you want smart immigration that helps the British economy. So people who are lucky enough to come and live here, they've got to integrate, they've got to work, and they've got to learn to speak the language. And many have, but many haven't, and that is a problem. And whether it's Tony Blair, David Cameron, Angela Merkel, they've all said, actually, multiculturalism has failed. And we've said it, and that's the truth. We want people to live and enjoy life under one British culture, of the British values, who we are, what we stand for, and that's really, really important.
And is that a problem locally in this constituency?
It's a problem across the country, it's a problem in the constituency, yeah. I mean, in Boston, you can walk through the town centre, and I love talking to people, but 40% of people, as you walk through the town centre, will barely speak a word of English. We've got a problem with legal in inverted commas, immigration, people coming from Bulgaria and Romania on a visitor visa. The moment they get here, they're trying to claim that they've been here for many months or years and trying to claim EU settlement status. So yeah, there's fraud, there's illegality going on, and we're trying to stop it. It's not easy.
In Savile Town in particular, it seems that the statistics suggest that the white population is now a minority. And are you worried about that?
It's actually, it's skin colour's irrelevant. It's about, are you working, are you integrating, are you part of your local community? And those are our slogan, family, community, country. Those are the key things. Getting stuck in, getting involved, getting up in the morning, going to work. What we can't do is pay millions of people to sit on their arse at home. And we are the party of the workers and the strivers, not the shirkers and the skivers.
What would reform do to that end?
Well, we need to stop illegal immigration by stopping the boats. We can pick up and take back legally. That requires just political courage. And then we want net zero immigration. We want smart immigration. And we've got to stop cheap, low-skilled immigration. We've got to stop big business from relying on not training our own people. And that's really important. And if we do that, then you create a shortage of labour. That means that actually people will, it's basic economics. If you can't afford the labour supply, you invest in capital equipment to replace it. And that's how an economy works. That's how it worked in the 80s and 90s. And we can do that again. And then everybody will be better off. And that's our key thing. You've got to make work pay. You've got to make risk-taking pay. And if you do that, then other great things will happen. We got in.
Well
yeah, we're
done.
making progress.
Well done.
It's all happening. Now we've got to get stuck in, stop the boats,
Good.
stop the
At least
nonsense.
I voted for you.
Thank you very much. Well, have you seen the progress we made it since?
Yes.
Yeah,
Keep
we're now
going.
number one in the polls. We're going to
Keep
push on.
going.
Have a lovely day.
Please.
See you.
Your speeches are brilliant.
Thank
and
you.
You and Rupert Lowe and
Yeah, we're getting
Nigel
stuck
Farage.
in.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
mucking about.
I think you're going to do it next time.
Well, we've got to.
We
'cause
were
otherwise the
lifelong
country's.
Conservatives
I
and
know.
voted for
Look,
you.
so was I.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
they let us down. They betrayed us. Knackered
Yeah.
the job. Nice
Yeah.
to see you. Thanks
Nice
for
to
saying
see you.
hello.
Take
All
care.
right.
All right.
Cheers. See ya.
Got to kick Starmer out quickly.
I know it's going to take too long, but we will kick him out. I invented that word Starmageddon. I didn't realise he'd be that bad.
Oh, no, I'm worse than that.
He's worse than that, isn't he? Just shocking.
Do you remember me then?
I do.
Good,
yeah,
good. You're
yeah,
doing a
absolutely.
cracking job.
We're doing all right. We're battling on. Just a job. Anyway, I need a bit of coffee just to, get the soul going. So here is the Jolly Fisherman. Here in Skegness, and the slogan, Skegness is so bracing.
Do you find much that people are angry, frustrated here?
There's a lot of frustration and there is some anger, but there's a lot of hope that we can turn things around, make a difference, and it's quite a responsibility, which we really feel that people are saying you're the last hope, the last chance. When someone said to me at a meeting the other day, he said, the next election is yours to lose. I thought, wow, you think where we've come from? It's pretty remarkable, but it's a sign of how the two main parties have utterly failed. The Tories broke Britain, and now Labour is rapidly bankrupting Britain.
What are people angry about, frustrated about?
They're angry about the state of the country, the state of public services, the cost of housing, the cost of living, the cost of energy, and then, mass immigration that people didn't vote for, the fact that the main parties, the Tories, they said they would control our borders, and they did exactly the opposite. They opened it up to mass immigration. And that's having a huge impact. That's reducing our quality of life. It's suppressing wages. It's putting unsustainable pressure on the healthcare system. It's meaning higher housing rents, lack of availability of housing. So yeah, people are really angry because this stuff's not rocket science. And it's not what people voted for.
How is it representing an area you're not from yourself?
These are all the same issues across the whole country. And here in Boston, Skegness, people are getting poorer. And they know it. They know that they sort of look back. Well, I remember it 20 years ago where there was work available, we could afford housing, we could get jobs, and people are angry. They're frustrated. And so that's a really important thing. That's why people come up to me and say, please keep battling on, keep trying.
You're obviously a very wealthy man, a millionaire, property developer. How do you connect with the people here who are generally a lot poorer?
Here's the thing. People respect hard work, achievements, and success. How are you? Nice to see you. You all right? How are we, sir?
mate.
Yeah, nice to see you, all right?
You too, mate.
Thanks a lot. Do you know what people like? Successful people getting stuck in and telling it as it is, because they know that, I think people realise, you want good people running the country, managing things, taking tough decisions, and you can't keep spending more than you're earning. You can't at home, you can't in your business, and we shouldn't as a country. And so I think so often people are lamenting the woeful quality of too many people running the country in politics. And look, it's not easy. In a sense, it shouldn't be easy. But I think we do need higher quality people in politics.
Speaking of those people, what do you make of Keir Starmer as a man when you've interacted with him?
Well, look, frankly, I just think that he acts and thinks like an international human rights lawyer. He doesn't act and think like, how am I going to make people better off? How am I going to incentivise work? How am I going to incentivise risk-taking? And how am I going to make people more prosperous? He's got no idea at all. He's never run a business. No one in his team has ever run a business. They literally haven't got a clue. And all they seem to spend their time doing is betraying our country by giving our money away on overseas climate aid, on ridiculous carbon capture schemes, giving away tens of billions of pounds on giving away our own freehold called the Chagos Islands. Strategically important defence asset. Utterly disgraceful. That's the ultimate betrayal, is giving our money away to other people when you're taking money away from our own pensioners. We've got 22,500 pensioners in this constituency of Boston Skegness who have lost their winter fuel allowance, to be told that we've got to give billions of pounds of their money to Mauritians who've never owned the Chagos Islands and who are in breach of an international treaty when they said they would give up any claim to it. It's a scandal, it's an outrage, it's got to stop.
What do you think his motivations are, the Prime Minister?
Credit where credit's due. I think he's getting better and more confident in the chamber as Prime Minister, partly due to the woeful incompetence of Kemi Badenoch. But look, the reality is that I don't think he understands what his job is. His job is to make the British people better off. His job is to protect and defend the British people. And I mean, we've had to drag him kicking and screaming on defence, for example, to get to 2.5% defence spending in the next couple of years. That was in our contract at the election, and then 3% in year 6. So I'm delighted he's got there in the end, but it's sort of kicking and screaming.
Obviously, Reform would like to form the next government, and people have obviously heard a lot from you and Nigel and others about migration and your policies there, but I think they'll want to know more about other things like the NHS, for example.
The NHS is the most wasteful department in the whole of the country, and when I talk about the waste and incompetence, the mismanagement, I always get contacted by nurses and doctors saying, you're so right, please keep telling it as it is. GDPR is stopping different GPs and pharmacies from being able to talk to each other through the same computer system, which means that time is wasted, money is wasted, patients are inconvenienced. This is madness, the absolute insanity of bungling bureaucracy. So our plan with the NHS is we need to use the independent sector much, much more. So the NHS should be buying millions more appointments and consultations and scans from the independent healthcare sector. That would ease the pressure on the NHS. Still free at the point of delivery before anybody whinges and whines and says, you're going to privatise the NHS. That's absolute nonsense. What we're going to do is be smart about how we do healthcare. And in this country, we need to talk about healthcare, not the NHS. The NHS has become a religion in this country, and what's happened is actually the customers, patients, as a result, have suffered. The NHS is a service to its customers, and it's failing its customers, and it's got to change.
Is the future looking bright for places like this?
The future at the moment is challenging, but if Reform UK form the next government, then the future will look brighter. It'll take some time to turn it around, but we will start to make people better off.
The general election campaign, people will remember that you stepped aside for Nigel when he became leader of Reform UK. Who called who? Did he give you a call and ask?
No, I'd been urging Nigel to get stuck back into politics big time since, basically since he got back from I'm a Celebrity the previous December. And we all knew, Nigel knew, it was a massive lifestyle decision, but the state of the country was getting worse and worse. And he was furious, I was furious, and we knew that actually, in a sense, Nigel's the most recognisable, famous politician in the country, but it was a huge decision for him. So he had
So you're the one who called him up and asked him to come back?
And obviously I'd been growing Reform, and so I said, yeah, look, if you want to do this, then let's do it. And so we looked at it, he looked at it, and we said, yeah, actually this is doable.
Would Reform be as effective in polling and with people's opinions and people's views and the support if Nigel weren't leader?
Well, the reality is that, as I say, Nigel's the most successful politician of a generation, the most recognised, and that's been a huge pull. So, yeah, but in a sense, this has worked out exactly as we hoped. Actually, the truth is, it's happening faster than we hoped because of what Labour have done. How you doing, all right? Because they're bankrupting the country. So people are saying, yeah, and people are saying, thank heavens there's an alternative choice. Thank heavens successful people like Nigel, like myself, like Lee Anderson and Rupert getting stuck in.
So you've
elected. So
you personally felt good on that stage, stepping aside for
I was
Nigel?
thrilled to bits because I
people
knew
might have felt a bit sorry for you.
Garbage. I think what people said was actually, do you know what? We're doing this for the country. We're doing it because it's the right thing to do to maximise the opportunity, maximise the choice for the country. And so, no, I was absolutely thrilled he came back.
We were chatting earlier on about how much time you spend in the constituency. You've come under some flack recently for spending some time in Dubai. Obviously, your partner Isabel is based there now. What do you say to the people who say you shouldn't be there, you should be here instead?
What I say is, and my constituents back me up on this hugely, I'm working 7 days a week, 24/7. And every 6 or 7 weeks, I reckon that I deserve a long weekend off in order to recharge the batteries. And people respect that. You can't perform at your best if you are knackered and run down. So, and here's the point. People see that I'm in the top 10 of people speaking in Parliament. I'm always in the constituency, I'm visible. You can see today, people recognise me, they see me around. I'm putting Boston and Skegness back on the map. I think people are thrilled. My uncle built the first skyscraper in Dubai in the 1970s. What I learned is that they are smart. They're getting stuff done. They're growing fast. How are you, all right? They are using their energy treasure under their feet, and we should be doing the same. That's why I want to use our oil and gas and shale gas. And so the thing you never read in Dubai papers is 2 words: net zero, net stupid zero. And that's why I'm so convinced and committed to scrapping this net zero policy. The attitude from the establishment here is can stop, will stop, as opposed to can do, will do. And that's the difference. We have to be brave enough to say, we're messing it up here. We're not good enough. We need to learn from others, get stuck in, and make progress and make Britain grow again. So I'm actually, do you know what? I think it's fantastic to be able to learn lessons from elsewhere. The Tories, remember, imposed net stupid zero on the country. They have to pay the price for that grotesque negligence. The Tories are the ones who impose mass uncontrolled immigration on us, and then you've got Priti Patel saying that it was the right thing and that anybody who criticises her should apologise. I mean, ludicrous. So fundamentally, they don't believe in the critical policies and values that we believe in order to make people better off. And so frankly, competition's a good thing, and we're just going to, we're at a seismic change, a once in a 100-year change in British politics. And competition's a great thing, and we're going to outcompete them.
Kemi Bader not here to stay as leader of the Tories, do you think?
Who knows, who cares?
So do you think her days are numbered, or is she going to go?
I neither know nor care. We're focusing on we're doing well, and we are doing very well, and look, that's for the Tories. I'm the best person to make this constituency great again, and I think I can make a massive contribution to turning the country around. How are you, sir? Nice to see you, all right? Yeah, keep up the good work,
Yes,
all right?
What do you think he's doing well?
Just he's doing what normal people want him to do for the country, which is get rid of illegal immigrants and just get Britain working again.
Yeah, you see, we've just been talking about it, getting Britain working.
Britain working.
Yeah, make
You're a
work
young
pay.
person. Are many people like yourself, your age, thinking the same?
Yeah. Anybody like my dad.
Are you saying he's younger than me?
A good place to say goodbye. Thank you very much for your time.
Brilliant. Thanks for coming. Really appreciate it. What you've seen is that I'm engaged, I'm known, I'm appreciated, and people understand that we're trying to make a difference. And there's a recognition that there's some hope. But actually people here are anxious about the current state of the country, but they're hopeful and optimistic that we can turn it around.
And you're hoping that's your fuel to number 10.
Yeah, we're going to win.